and then something comes out at the end. And we have what we call a bubble-up system. So when we talked about this morning about, yeah, that's the million-dollar question. What is the new business model? What is the new approach? How do we get closer to the customer? Maybe it makes sense if we take these 3 questions home with us. So, do your process systems, your CRM systems, if they get used at all, do they set up employees for success? So think about the Southwest Airlines employee loading the bags and what the CRM system helped her to achieve, what it did to customers. Think about how you feel when you stood up and thought about when you lost your luggage. What parts of your decision-making process could be moved much closer to the base of gravity, to the center of gravity, closer to the customer, to make faster decisions for people who know much more about the customer than the bees in headquarters. Nature could have well decided to say, there is one bee or a set of bees in the hive who says, 10 nectar sources coming in, I have all the information, I make the decision and communicate it back. 220 million years of evolution have decided that's not how we're going to do it. It's like so, how we do it. So can you have a flatter structure that produces faster decisions, more customer centricity, more customer focus, and probably happier employees? Do you think she was happy, the lady who delivered the bag, when she saw the face of the customer? She loves it. When you see, if you go on YouTube and see some videos of employees, what they say. One lady said, it's very simple people, right? Texas. They, but they would say things like, okay, they're American, but let's say they would say, the best thing about working here at Southwest Airlines is to come to work every day. They would say stuff like that. And that's how you drive revenues and profitability. It's not customers first, it's employees first. And all successful service companies who've done that have been successful. All the companies who've understood that, they have achieved high employee engagement. And this is now what we'll talk about in the last of the 4 service principles. It's cost. So whenever you put together a service offering, you will always end up there. It's not so hard to think up the perfect service for someone. At some point, you will come to the crunch and say, how on earth are I going to pay for that? So there's 3 things. Yeah, we can, what Julian said, right? Do more with less. So, well, you can charge your customers for what they're willing to pay for. That's one thing. And you find out in market research what they're willing to pay for. Often for services, it's not so much. Ask your customers to do some of the work themselves, right? You can use online technology that put in data themselves. You don't need office staff. But by far the most powerful impact on cost is to leverage employee and customer ownership. So that's really the centerpiece of a successful service. Ownership, and Hesketh has done a lot of research on it. It basically says, if you look at your employees and if they're aware of something, there will be at some point, if you do your strategy right, there will be a subset of employees that will behave as if they owned the company. And they'll basically come back with ideas, they do your recruiting, and they will be so enthusiastic and passionate about everything that they will create a base of customer owners. So now this is all maybe a bit theoretical, but let me show you what the impact on cost is in a real company. So this is Harrah's. It's a casino chain in Las Vegas. They have, I don't know whether you've been to Las Vegas, but they own a lot of the famous casinos, Caesars Palace, and stuff like that. And they have a very, very big customer database. And first thing to notice, they have 54% employees that have recommended this place to other employees. Maybe again, a potential KPI. So obviously a very high employee engagement. But interesting now, they have identified the customer segment. They represent about 8% of the customers who do their marketing for them, their targeting, their recruitment, their product development or business development in a very, very effective way. Look at that. So these 8% of customers compared to the rest of the customers have recruited 20% more customers than the rest. They have, out of these 20%, these customers had 73% more lifetime value. Within a year, these 8% customers recruited customers that had 1.5% the lifetime value of them. 1.5 times, I'm sorry, the lifetime value of them. They recruited and suggested 39% more new employees, and they came up with 100% more suggestions than for service improvements. So this, once a company has understood the power of employee and customer ownership, that's the most powerful lever they can have on cost. How do you get there? Well, it's those two things, which tend to be a little bit abstract, right? Leadership and culture. How do you get your employees from being just aware to behave like owners? Well, think back about ING Direct. It's a bank, right? So if you think about their CEO, what do you think he's like? Bank. Suit, huh? Square, tie, serious, right? You give him your money. Want to see a photo of him? That's him. That's Arkady Kuhlmann, the CEO of ING Direct. Think about your CEOs and think about what impact on employees he will have. What bankers will he attract? Do you think it's the investment broker from Wall Street? No. Well, they don't even sell stocks, right? Or they don't even sell complex finance product. What he has created, with his leadership, he's not only created a culture within ING Direct, he has created a cult. And they call it the cult of being orange. What he has created is, he said, America, and that's where he started after Canada, America needs to start saving again. Oh, saving? A bank asked me to save. Has your bank ever asked you to save? No, they want to sell you credit, right? You want debt. That's how they make their money. Very different business model. So the people he attracts, they are people who are excited about the idea to fight consumerism, to bring savings back into the life. That's what they drive. What do you think about these employees when they sit in the car and drive past like a HSBC or Santander billboard? What will they do in their car? They'll do this. No bank charges, highest interest rates. That's what they do. So they're engaged, right? They behave like owners. They have a mission. And that's what makes them profitable. I don't know, do we have time? That takes a minute to see him. Okay, well, let's listen to, just think about when he speaks.